Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Ian Struthers and I'm the Technical Manager for MIS here at Trimble. Today I'd like to demonstrate how quick, easy and accurate it is to create estimates for portal frame buildings and sheds using Tekla EPM's powerful and yet simple estimating tools. Tekla EPM's estimating module can take the hard work out of projects of all shapes and sizes, from small miscellaneous jobs all the way up to complex structures with thousands of tons of steelwork. But today I want to focus specifically on portal frames. Over the past few years, we've built some really handy tools which will not only speed up your estimating process for portal frames, but it will also make it far more accurate, meaning you can generate more quotes for more inquiries and bid with confidence. To prove my point, I'll create an entire estimate from start to finish during this video, so you can get an idea of how quickly and easily they can be created. Okay, so I'll start by creating a new estimate. And I'll just put in some basic details. I'll just put in a project description and who my customer is. Okay, I'll put in the distance to the job site so I know how much transport delivery is going to cost me. And I can put in how many hours I'm going to spend in the drawing office on this particular job. I can choose whether it's going to be painted, unpainted or galvanized. Now you can have a mixture on the job, but this is just the default. If I choose painted, then I have different paint systems or different paint products that I can configure here, and then different paint systems as well. So in this case, I'm just going to make my standard 2-pack epoxy primer my default paint system, and we'll see that in a short while. So having entered that information, I can go into the main estimating screen. You'll see I've already got all of my different pages set up already for a standard portal frame. And I could start entering my materials over on the right hand side, I guess in a traditional takeoff fashion, putting all my steel size and purlin sizes, so on and so forth. But what I want to show today is the parametric assemblies. So I'm going to come up to estimating and add parametric assembly. There's a number of parametric assemblies that we ship with out of the box, but I'm going to choose the standard portal frame steelwork one. Sorry. Okay, that. And it now wants some basic information about the building. So it wants to know the length of the building, the span of the building, how many bays are going to be, the height to eaves, the roof pitch. Now it's defaulted to 15 mil. I could change it, but in this instance I won't. I'll say there's 2 gable posts per end. Similarly with the steel sizes, we've got defaults for all the different elements, so your columns, your rafters, your bracing, so on and so forth. I can leave them as they are, the most common size, I suppose, but we can also change these. So I'll make this a 406 178 54. I'll leave the rafter size as it is, eave size, maybe change the bracing size to 114 by 3.6. I'll do the same for the side racing, and gable posts I'll make a little bit bigger. I'll make them a 305 165 by 40. It asks for the purlin and rail centers, so it knows how many rail cleats to allow for, or purlin cleats to allow for, whether I've got a wall around the building, so it knows how far the cleats need to go, and then whether or not we're going to be installing this building or it's a supply only. So having specified my variables, I can hit calculate, add that parametric assembly, and now you'll see it's added in all of my steel work, my columns, my rafters, my eaves beams, bracing, so on and so forth. Down at the bottom I've got my gable posts. Now as you can clearly see, it's not just added in my main steel, but it's added in all the ancillary items as well, from my base plates, my stiffeners, cap plates, so on and so forth. My rafters, it's added my apex and eaves end plates, my haunches, purlin cleats, so on and so forth. And because these are all calculated parametrically, all these sizes are based. So the stiffener is a perfect example. That stiffener size there is being calculated specifically for the column size, in this case a 406 178 54. So we've got a full bill of materials here, all the way down to the holding down bolts as well. Over on the over on the right hand side, we can see that we have a default material cost for this. So behind the scenes, we have a material pricing library. And you can see here my beams are 900 a ton, my plates are 1,000 a ton. But obviously, material prices can be quite volatile, and you may need to change those on a job by job basis. And for this, we have a job specific price maintenance file where you can come into here and update the prices of any of these items as required. So let's dig a little bit deeper. We've got the material, we've got all the materials and all the material costs. If I double click on one of these items, you can see that behind the scenes we have a very complex, very powerful, yet a very customizable labor timings tool, which calculates how long items are going to take to cut, to put holes in, to burn, for the notches and the likes, for the welding, so we capture the length of weld required, painting, so on and so forth. Now, whilst these times may not necessarily reflect your exact workshop, they can certainly be customized to do so. So we're not just getting the material aspect, we're also calculating the labor as well. For more of a kind of bird's eye view, you can see that we're currently captured 144 hours, which is equating to about 9.4 man hours per ton. But if you want to kind of I guess use your experience and to judge, well, actually, we think we can condense that down to 130 hours for argument's sake. Again, using your experience on similar projects, then you can see that's going to change all those timings accordingly. And now we're operating at around about 8.5 man hours per ton. So that's the steel side of things. I'm now going to go through the different elements, and again, using the parametric assemblies, I'm going to add in my roof cladding to start with. Again, I've got different configurations of roof cladding. So here we can see I've got fibre cement with purlins, fibre cement with timbers. I'm going to choose the fibre cement with purlins option. Again, I need to confirm some of the parameters of the building. Okay, I've got what my overhang is on either side of the roof in case they're differing. I've got my cladding profile, my purlin size, so on and so forth. I'll just leave those as the defaults for now. Whilst this is using a particular manufacturer, Steel Sections Limited, you could drop this down and choose Stedman's, Metsec, BW, Ayrshire, whoever you may be using. And finally, I'll just say that installation is required as well. And in similar fashion to the steelwork, I've now got a breakdown of all the materials that I require for my roof cladding. So looking at the side one sheets first, I've got all my full runs, my partial runs, where there's a roof light kind of allowance, my fixtures, same for side two. Then I have all my purlins, my eaves beams, my sleeves, and again all the ancillary items down to the purlin ties and apex ties, even all the way down to my bolts. And then a bit further down, we're going to see our flashings as well. So I've got my crown ridge cappings and my barge boards as well. And once again, all of these have got costs associated with them in the main library as well. I will go through the others a bit quicker, just so you can see the full process end to end. For my side cladding, I will choose maybe single skin with metal purlins. Okay, I'll just confirm these again. So it's asking me how many bays to be clad side one and side two. So if I need to allow an opening for a door, or it's being left open for argument's sake, I can. So I'll say out of the 6 bays, I'm cladding 5 on side one and all 6 on side two. And again, I'll specify there's a wall of 1 meter high on both sides, and again, we'll allow for installation. And much the same as the roof cladding, we've got side one cladding with my number of sheets on side 1. You see we've got 25 sheets on side 1 and then 30 sheets on side 2 because we allowed for an opening on side 1. Then all my side rails and again all the ancillary fixture and fittings. And then again down here I've got my corner flashings again for side 1 and side 2. I'll do my end cladding now. So again, different options. I'll just choose the single skin with purlins again. 15-meter span, 5.5-meter eaves height. I'll say there's 2 gable posts at both ends, a 1-meter wall at both ends, and again, it's asking me how many of the bays or how many between the gable posts are going to be clad. So I'll just say we'll leave one open on one end and we'll clad all the full end the other side. And we want to allow erection or installation. Now you see there's a bit more on the end cladding because it's calculating the individual run lengths, the full run lengths for as the roof pitch kind of steps up, the height of the building increases. We capture how long each of those runs needs to be. Again, all the fixture and fittings to go with that, and the rails down there. We can add a parametric assembly for our gutters if you're allowing for guttering. Okay, let's calculate that. And again, you can see it allows all the gutters, the downpipes, the stop ends, the connections, the brackets, etc. With my panels, I could add a parametric assembly to calculate these, but I'm actually just going to show you how to input them manually. So for any items you want to add manually, we can simply click New over here. It's going to ask us for a quantity, so let's just say we've got 16, and we'll say panels, so we're just picking from a material list here, and we'll choose the panel size. In this case, we'll choose a 145 by a meter, and we'll say they're 5 meters. They're all 5 meters long. We can allow an erection or an installation cost as well. I haven't shown you this, but I'll revert back to that. So let's just say half an hour to install each of those panels. Additions can be used for any kind of extra over items, so doors, windows, access points, anything like that that wouldn't necessarily be captured in any of the other areas. I'll leave that now in the for save some time. And finally, site. I do have a parametric assembly for my site costs as well, which will ask me for a number of days on site. So this would need to be calculated manually in this instance, the number of cherry pickers required, and the gang size, which I'll leave at 3. And as you can see now, it's not only allowed kind of my plant hire in terms of my cherry picker and my crane. I've also got the delivery of the plant. I've also got all my safety and security elements and some accommodation allowance there. And you can see each of those has got a cost associated with it as well. So in this case, I've got 30 days worth of travel and accommodation at £65 a day. Okay, so that's the takeoff process, and obviously we've got an awful lot of detail in there, and you might ask, well, I've got a very simple spreadsheet now. It gives me a cost. Why do I need this level of detail? And really, the answer is that this can drive your efficiencies and your accuracies. So if one cost changes, the cost of one material changes, it's very easy to adjust that. You haven't got costs that kind of wrapped up with one another. The other benefit of this, over and above the fabrication labour that we're calculating as well, is the fact that your estimating can actually drive your purchasing as well. So assuming you're successful in winning this job, you can load this material list directly into a requisition or a purchase order. So you can even gain efficiencies in your purchasing process by not having to raise manual purchase orders for all this material as well. Okay, so with all that being said, I'm just going to show you how to export this as a final price now. So I'm going to come to my reports. Now as you may expect, there are lots of reports in here, from my labour reports, my material reports, to my painting reports, installation reports. But the one I want to show you is all the way down at the bottom, and it's the summary information to Excel. This is going to open an Excel spreadsheet. Give that a second to reformat. Okay. And I'll make that a little bit bigger so we can see it. So it's now giving me a complete costing of my estimate broken down into the different areas. So it starts with my materials, and it breaks my materials down to hot rolled, cold rolled. So there's all my main steelwork, all my purlins and rails, etc. There's all my cladding, concrete, and my rainwater goods I allowed for. And you can see we've got the cost price. The cost price is then subjected to an overhead, administration and profit markup, which again can be different for all of these elements. They're all the same in this scenario, but they could be different. And then that then gives us our final sell price. We'll scroll down, we then got our paint, so I can see that we need to buy 100 litres worth of paint. Down to my labour, so there's my 130 hours worth of shop labour at my hourly rate, 25 hours worth of detailing labour, again at my hourly rate. Come down a bit further, we haven't put any subcontracts in, but you could put these in for any kind of third-party subcontract items such as groundworks or decking or whatever it might be. I then got one delivery to site, so we put in the distance to the site, and it's calculated that we only need one load, and based on the distance, that's £150 per load. And then we've got our 166 hours worth of erection labour as well, again at our hourly rate. So what that gives me my total cost, all my margins, and then my final price to the customer. And then down at the bottom, it just gives a summary as well. And that's all I wanted to show you today. So in the last 15 minutes, or just over 15 minutes, we've created a very comprehensive estimate with all my materials, all my steel plates, all my cold rolled and all the ancillary items. We've done a full fabrication labour takeoff, so I know exactly how much time I need to cut, drill, weld, paint every item, and that's all come together in one kind of summarised sheet with a total cost. So I hope you found that informative. I hope you see some value in it. I thank you for your time today, and if you'd like to find out more, please contact your local Trimble representative. Thank you. Goodbye.